Long time no see. I don't even know when was the last video I made, I guess like 1 year ago. It's always the summertime that makes me want to create something. I guess it's because of the weather, the warmth. There's nowhere to hide from motors. Even in nature you will find them. You can hear one farting in the distance. When it comes to YouTube, it seems like nowadays you have to create something exceptional, something that hasn't even been made before, but what is it at this point? Is it video game related? Because when it comes to video games, it seems like the whole genre is kind of dying. You know, it kind of existed in this vacuum of time when millennials had personal computers. Nowadays, we're just getting mobile games and games focused for the youth of today. And the youth of today, some youngsters don't even know how to use a computer, which is a strange time to live in. That's also why we're getting so many remakes nowadays. That certain age group that grew up with video games that were released back then, they're the ones with money. You can't really lure in a younger generation with PC gaming or even consoles because they're into mobile gaming, I guess. I don't even know what they do. I guess they only twerk and eat hot chip and they eat a boo boo. Have I been fishing? No, not really, because it seems like the river is kind of poisoned with poo water or something like that. The fish I catch, it ends up being either smelly or like it has tumors sometimes. And it's the same with food everywhere. I don't know what we're gonna end up eating soon because all the chemicals, pesticides, and all of this strange mystery meat ends up in our stomachs, and we can't pass the gas anymore. Mushroom hunting and berry picking is something that is very nice and interesting to do. It kind of takes a lot of time, and you need to find the places for it, but it's something cool to do. It's something interesting and fun. You can also sell them, but it's like you're probably not gonna make that much money, but it's something. Some people, that live near the forest, that know the spots in Lithuania, they end up doing like a business, but it's in another region. It's not really where I'm located. The summer has been extremely hot in Europe, as you have probably noticed. Nobody has ACs anymore. Not that we ever had them, but Americans keep making fun of us, and it makes me very upset. And I want to go complain to my teacher because of all the bullying of Europeans. At least our houses are not made out of plywood. Why the American people be walking like this? No, it's a joke from Simpsons. So true. I find being in the forest super relaxing and it's super lovely. Forests are awesome. Like nature is awesome. Whenever I'm out here, I'm reminded of God and all of these other positive things. And it's something you can always take from life. And it's so amazing because it's like a choice. A lot of people nowadays are depressed and they focus on what they don't have. And it's a common trope. It's a common problem because if you always focus on what you want and what you don't have, you will always not have something. But if you focus on what you have and what you can have and stuff like that, not really can have, but what you have. And if you focus on the simple things in life, you will never be sad. You will never lose your way and you will always be full. That's something people nowadays lack. And it's all about materialism. If people could learn how to cook their own meals and prepare their own food, they could save a lot of money. They could invest that money somewhere. And since capitalism kind of forces you to do that, it's like, or you're going to lose the game. When you look at the statistics, apparently like half of the Americans are like 80% or 70% of the Americans don't even have $500 in their bank account. It's kind of mind blowing. Another worrying thing to me is that a lot of these people that gave their lives to their profession, they have families and they don't even know their children. It's like ridiculous how little time people have with their own families. And it's like a regular normal thing. Back in the day, people used to live in closely knit families, in closely knit society. Everybody knew everyone. If there was a birth in the village, everyone would come together, be happy about a new member of their village. And nowadays, it's like nobody knows anyone when it comes to like real, regular world interactions, like the way the world used to be set up. Nowadays, it's all about things that don't really matter. And it's incredible because these people spend the whole lives doing something they hate. And it's like they end up at their pension, then they die a few years later. And it's a common model. I think that's why a lot of youth, they've seen what is going on with the elder generations and they don't really want this for themselves. That's why there's such a huge rate of unemployment among youth nowadays. Another thing is screens, phone screens, computer screens, all of the screens. It really screws up people's ability to interact with society. I can say that marriage rates are just gonna plummet like they already have, and no one is gonna be interested in forming families and whatnot. I think the youth understands that it's not a very good deal for them to have a family, and especially children. So they opt out for animals and whatnot. I think people have become too smart for their own good in a way, which is ridiculous sounding. If we were more like animals, if we were all about multiplying, not having access to contraception and all of that, the population would continue booming. But nowadays, when the education is everywhere and people understand the consequences of their actions better, they're a lot more wary and risk averse, which is not a bad thing, I think. If humanity would continue multiplying nonstop, it's also not a very good thing. Unless we could technologically advance to space age, and we could easily send people to outer space, then we would need a lot of people. But at this point, the fact that population rate is going down, I don't know if it's really a bad thing, especially when going to nature and the beaches and everywhere else. You always want to be left alone without people. So the less people there are, in a way, it's better. It's bad for the economy, but economy is like a beast created by humans. It's not a real thing. It's whatever. You can always print more money. You can always solve all of these problems. And oh no, inflation and whatnot. Just you can change the money, like add 1 0 to the dollars to the euros, and it's whatever. Of course, at some point it gets like hyperinflatory, and that's also a bad thing. But you also like force people to spend their money. They won't end up holding money in the bank because nobody's gonna want money at that point. I think I'm not gonna make this video too long. It would be interesting to hear what you guys would like me to talk about next time. I think I will make another video at some point like this one, just talking, maybe talking to each other, maybe having certain topics to talk about, certain ideas, certain feelings. It's always a good thing to remind yourself and the others how to think to not poison yourself. And it's something new that I have discovered. Or maybe it just comes with age. That's another idea I've been having. Because back in the day, I used to be like completely different to how I am now. But I'm 32 now, and that's where apparently brain develops a new age, and it changes somewhat. And I think for males just stop caring, or maybe not all of them, but for me, like my brain kind of flipped around. I used to be anxious and whatnot, and nowadays it's like it all disappeared. I'm just calm all the time, and it's very satisfying but weird. Or maybe the anxiety is related to inflammation of the body, because I have also changed my diet, quite a few times. Now I mostly eat just fresh food, nothing fermented, nothing conserved. Maybe that's what humans were supposed to be eating. Maybe once you get rid of all of the inflammation, you become like an ancient human. But they used to drink a lot of wine and fermented stuff, so how does that work? Maybe you go back to the monkey, because monkey only ate fruit and each other's asses. So yeah, I'm still alive, still kicking, ain't nothing gonna break my stride, and I'm still positive. And whatever happens in life, in your life, in my life, and anybody else's life, and grounding yourself, no matter the situation, it's a very helpful skill to develop, and it's a very good thing to have. The world is always turning. Whatever happens, whatever. If it's a negative thing, with time you will probably forget it, unless it's a trauma. But traumas you can also understand and, live through them and understand what they were. Understanding this reality in a different way really helps to live in it. If you look at things like, oh, the whole world is falling apart and whatever, even if it's a minor thing, it's, sooner or later something's gonna happen. You're gonna die, and you will probably be very upset about dying. It's all about perspective. It's all about how seriously you take things, all about how much energy you give to bad people, how much energy you give to problems and whatnot. And my experience shows that no matter what, things always work out. Like there's no other way around it. What's the worst thing that can happen, Well, a lot. But why focus on that? There's always something you can do about it. And if there's nothing you can do about it, why worry about it? It's like a Buddhist saying, ancient wisdom. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to say. It's kind of starting to get dark, and I still need to get home. So it is what it is. I'm Rokas Bum. I'm still alive. And thank God for everything I have. And whatever happens, I trust in the Lord and Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, the armor of God. You probably won't know the reference. But oh no, that's a little tick. That's also why I'm wearing these weird white socks so that I could see the ticks. And I'm pretty much covered in anti-tick spray, but it seems like it's an anti-dick spray because all it did was make my penis shrink. Whatever. See you next time. Love you. No, cut that out. Cut the kiss out.